Here's your wrestling news for March 8th, 2021. And your headlines for today include: former WWE World Champion makes shocking debut at AEW Revolution. Former Impact star debuts at Revolution, competes in ladder match. Next, AEW pay-per-view announced. When will it happen? AEW barbed wire match shocks fans but ends on a dud. Spoilers on huge announcement to be made on this week's NXT. Next TAKEOVER name and date revealed. Where will WWE move their Thunderdome next? AEW files trademark on wrestling character from 1999. Technical mistakes and glitches cause fans to miss AEW Revolution. It was one of my darkest days. WWE Hall of Famer interviewed for Vice's Dark Side of the Ring. Raw superstar demands US title match with Riddle. I didn't appreciate it. Former Universal Champion comments on his bad attitude. This is a bad human being. Mark Henry blasts former superstar over lies, and more. We are starting today with AEW Revolution, as Christian is the newest member of the All Elite roster. Debuting at last night's pay-per-view, the former world champion is now going by Christian Cage and signed a multi-year contract with the company. Christian didn't feel the need to say anything, as he just showed up and left after inking his deal. Though it was previously reported that Christian had re-signed a deal with WWE, it turns out that he'd actually signed a contract with Fox, and that his impressive appearance at the 2021 Men's Royal Rumble match was indeed a one-off. Paul White said that the signing would be the biggest scoop ever, and although we're not sure if we can call Christian the biggest signing in AEW history, a company that has the likes of Sting, we're sure that the 47-year-old wrestler will prove to be a vital asset for the company. Christian Cage wasn't the only shocking appearance at AEW Revolution, as Ethan Page was the sixth member of the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Making his AEW debut in the match, Page joined Cody Rhodes, Penta, Lance Archer, Scorpio Sky, and Max Caster in what Tony Khan called a fun entry. Page's contract with Impact Wrestling ended at the end of 2020, though his appearance wasn't enough to get him the win, as Scorpio Sky won the ladder match. This means that Sky will be getting a future AEW TNT Championship match, but it was Ethan Page who stole the show with his shocking appearance at Revolution. Whilst Christian and Page were both shocking appearances, there were few moments more jaw-dropping than the main event between AEW World Champion Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. The match was painful to look at, as barbed wire covered the ring on three sides, whilst there was a mix of barbed wire covered boards and explosives around the ring. Moxley was the first to take an explosive trip into the barbed wire, and other weapons included a trash can and a kendo stick. That's not to say that the champion emerged unscathed, as Omega was drop-kicked face-first into the ropes and took an explosion, though when Moxley went to deliver more damage, the Impact World Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, ran to the ring and took the abuse. Even the referee was concerned for their safety, as Bryce Remsburg wore a hazmat suit and face mask to protect himself from the blasts. Ultimately, it was Omega who got the win, hitting a one-winged angel through a chair, but that didn't stop the countdown timer, which promised to cause every explosion to detonate. Handcuffed in the ring, it seemed like this was the end for Moxley, but Eddie Kingston ran down to cover the beaten challenger as the explosions went off. Those explosions turned out to be little more than sparklers, which wouldn't have looked out of place during a Gillberg entrance. And while this was very much a dud ending, the performance of Moxley, Omega, and everyone involved was still quite the offering for AEW's first exploding barbed wire death match. On last week's edition of NXT, William Regal promised a groundbreaking announcement for this week's show, and we may already know what it'll be. Though it's been speculated that Regal is set to announce that NXT is moving to Tuesday nights, therefore ending the Wednesday Night Wars, that won't be the case, according to Dave Meltzer. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer said that the announcement is expected to be the announcement of a TAKEOVER event during WrestleMania week in April, as well as brand new NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Regal promised his announcement after the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending against Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai ended in controversy. It's unclear how NXT will crown their first ever Women's Tag Team Champions, or how the new titles will operate, given that the Gold brand has a far shallower pool of women than are available on the main roster. As for the TAKEOVER event in April, that will reportedly be called TAKEOVER Stand and Deliver after that term was trademarked by WWE on March 2nd, though fans will have to wait until Wednesday to find out for sure what Regal has planned. Much like WWE, AEW is no stranger to locking down trademarks, including a very interesting one for Paul White. On March 2nd, the company locked down the name Captain Insano, and though the former Big Show never competed under that name in real life, it was his character's name in the 1999 Adam Sandler film The Waterboy. In the filing, it was noted that the Captain Insano name can be used in digital media such as video games, so it's entirely possible that Insano could be a character in the upcoming AEW games. Whatever the case, it's interesting that AEW now has Paul White and Captain Insano, and with it being confirmed that White will wrestle, perhaps Insano will appear in an AEW ring down the line. More from AEW, and with Revolution now a thing of the past, the company is looking ahead to their next pay-per-view. During last night's show, it was confirmed that AEW Double or Nothing will take place on May 30th at the Daily's Place, a change from the original announcement that it'd be on May 29th at MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas. AEW certainly isn't waiting long to host their next pay-per-view, but with Double or Nothing 83 days away, it's still far longer than what WWE waits between their major events. Before Double or Nothing, fans can look forward to this Wednesday's Dynamite, which will serve as the fallout show from Revolution. On this week's show, Scorpio Sky will be cashing in his Face of the Revolution win, meaning he'll face TNT champion Darby Allin in a title match. Dynamite will also see the Inner Circle hold what's being called a War Council, where they'll discuss what's next for the faction, as Chris Jericho and MJF have agreed changes need to be made. What those changes are remain to be seen, but fans will find out this Wednesday on Dynamite. Though AEW Revolution was a huge night for the company, which saw Christian Cage's debut, Sting's first AEW match, and Kenny Omega retain the AEW World title in an exploding barbed wire death match, a lot of fans didn't get to see it. The show was streamed on Bleacher Report Live, but the website was glitching a lot throughout the show, and some fans reported that the site was accepting payment of $49.99 for the show, only to log fans out of the site. When they logged back in, the site said that the show hadn't been purchased, but the fan had still been charged. BR Live wasn't the only place where there were problems, as fans using the Roku television app to watch also experienced major issues. This isn't the first time AEW has had issues streaming their content, and hopefully they can get these issues sorted and not interfere with their next event. Back to WWE, and for the past couple of months, Tropicana Field has been home to the Thunderdome, but now the Tampa Bay Rays need their stadium back. With the Rays having a game against the New York Yankees on April 9th, it's been reported that WWE's last night in Tropicana Field will be April 5th. With that said, WWE won't be going far for their new home, as Ringside News is reporting that though various venues are being considered, none are outside of the Tampa Bay area. Keeping the Thunderdome in Florida does have its advantages, as the Sunshine State is already reopening, and several superstars have homes in Florida too. Where WWE goes next remains to be seen, but with real-life fans returning in a limited capacity for WrestleMania 37, we're sure WWE is hoping the third Thunderdome venue will be the last. Now, Vice's Dark Side of the Ring is currently producing content for their third season, and this week, fans found out a new topic that'll be covered on the show. During an appearance on the Sports Media Podcast with Richard Deitch, AEW announcer Jim Ross revealed he'd been interviewed for the show regarding the infamous WWE plane ride from hell. He added, "I told them in the beginning, I said I don't like this topic, I don't like remembering this bullshit. It was a bad day at the office, it was one of the more darker days during my tenure as head of talent relations." The plane ride from hell was a ride in 2002 where several incidents happened, as many superstars got drunk and caused problems on the flight. These incidents include an amateur-style match between Mr. Perfect and a rookie Brock Lesnar, Ric Flair disrobing in front of staff, and a drunken brawl between Michael Hayes and Bradshaw. This PR nightmare happened the very same day the WWF became WWE, and given that Perfect and Scott Hall were quickly fired after the infamous plane ride, this'll make for a very interesting episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Back to the present, and on the latest edition of Raw, Mustafa Ali pinned Riddle, and now the Retribution leader wants another shot at the original Bro. On Twitter, Ali pointed out that he holds a win over the United States champion and has yet to be named the #1 contender. It's worth mentioning that Ali got the win over Riddle after Riddle had already competed, as the champ teamed up with the Lucha House Party to defeat 3 members of Retribution. Still, a win's a win for Mustafa Ali, and with few matches announced for Fastlane in 13 days' time, perhaps the Retribution leader will get his US title match at the pay-per-view. Goldberg news now, as it's been reported that he'll have a handful of matches each year as part of his WWE contract, and he's appreciating every minute of it. Yesterday, WWE released their latest documentary, Goldberg at 54, and the 2-time former Universal Champion spoke about how different he feels about wrestling now as to when he made his dominant debut in WCW during the Monday Night Wars. He said, "I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now when I got in it by any stretch, so it gives me a completely different perspective. I wish I would have had this perspective back in the day." It's no secret that Goldberg didn't particularly enjoy his time in WCW despite the monumental success he had, and he brought that attitude to the WWE when he signed in 2003. Now, recently we reported on an interview from Ahmed Johnson, and the former Intercontinental Champion didn't have any good things to say about his fellow Nation of Domination members. Calling Mark Henry a Magilla gorilla and saying he kisses butt, Johnson also blamed D'Lo Brown for ending Darren Drozdov's career, adding that Brown never even spoke to Droz after the accident. It's worth mentioning that Droz has never blamed Brown for the accident during their 1999 match, which led to Droz being paralyzed, and Johnson's comments have lit a fire under Mark Henry. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Henry defended D'Lo in a scathing attack on Johnson, saying, "I speak to Darren all the time. D'Lo speaks to Darren all the time. Guys, just so you know, I'm telling you the truth. This is a bad human being." Henry didn't stop there, saying that Johnson's credibility is shot, and that perhaps Ahmed should look in the mirror before he tries to tear down a future Hall of Famer like Brown and a former world champion like himself. At this time, Johnson hasn't replied to Henry's latest comments, but between this and the Ryback arguments from earlier this year, it's clear that the world's strongest man isn't going to let anyone talk bad about him or his friends. And we're ending today with news from Drew McIntyre, as the former 2-time WWE champion has awarded some gold of his own to his favorite soccer team. Being a huge fan of Rangers FC, it was only fitting that McIntyre presented a custom WWE title to the team after the team won the Scottish Premiership. McIntyre compared himself to the team, saying they both have a story of ups and downs, and Triple H echoed the Scottish superstar's words. As for McIntyre, it's rumored that he'll be challenging for the real WWE Championship himself at WrestleMania, and he'll no doubt be looking to hold the title for the 3rd time very soon. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.